These guys had some of the most unusual songs of the late 60s. This is Love from their third album, Forever Changes, led by Arthur Lee. Kind of a crazed genius, maybe. A couple of really talented guitar players in the band, Brian McLean and Johnny Eccles. And this is the closing tune to the album Forever Changes. This is called You Set the Scene. And they just had a ton of songs that did really unusual things. This song has so many chords in it. Almost all of them, you know. They're all mostly major and minor chords, and some major sevens and a few other standard things. But, you know, you just saw me play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different major chords in that progression. All major chords. 6 different ones. A, B, C, D, E, and G. Is that right? No, we didn't have a G in there. Maybe only 5. Anyhow, there are a lot. And it opens up with a chord that is just, what were they thinking? And very fast picking, this quick cross picking that happens in the beginning. Probably the hardest part of that song is getting this up to a reasonable speed. But what we're going to talk, and this song also has, first of all, this album just had fabulous tunes. I do already have a lesson up on Alone Again, and I'm looking at A House Is Not, at a whole bunch of others, and more again, Daily Planet. Anyway, so if you haven't listened to Forever Changes, do yourself a favor. Find it at YouTube and listen all the way through and pay attention to just how unusual these songs are. Arthur Lee played a lot of 12-string on them, so generally I think when you hear a 12-string intro, which is not this, it's probably him. I doubt that was him playing this part. It was probably Brian or Johnny. And there are videos of, like, from within the last 10 years of Johnny Eccles' band with playing a bunch of love tunes, and he manages to play that and sing it. They're fabulous. Anyway, this is, have I even mentioned the title yet? I think I did. It's called You Set the Scene. And one of the unusual things about it is it's really 2 different songs. The whole thing is about 7 minutes long, but it's like one 3-minute song that then blends into another 3-minute one with a totally different feel. Here's where the G chord comes in. And the whole feel is completely different, not as frantic and hectic as the other one, as the first song. So we're going to talk about the chord progression to both songs. It's fairly, I guess I got to classify this as an advanced tune. So you should already be familiar with bar chords, the E and the A families, and fast picking. Cross picking. We'll talk about that in probably. I think I'm going to do the first segment on the hardest thing that happens in this song. And anyway, I think that's all I want to talk about here. Oh, there's a B7 coming up with that in a little transitional part. We have a couple other unusual. Sometimes we hear our F major 7 like this. It's basically a standard F chord, but with the first string open, which means we play it with our first finger on just the second string and then get the F in the bass with a thumb wrap. But sometimes that chord's played with the open second string as well, giving it a really spacey sound. This could be your first puzzle, is what are we going to call this chord? It started off as F major 7, but I added the open B to it. I'll break that down a little bit later too. And then there's kind of the puzzle of what are we going to call this chord. This is basically notes out of a B chord at the 7th fret, just the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, with an open A and an open E underneath it. So if you want to just work on this beginning part, I'll show you how it goes right now. It's an 8-note arpeggio with the B on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. That means I've got the 7th fret, the 8th fret, and the 9th fret. And the cross-picking approach to this is down on the 5th, down on the 4th, down on the 3rd, down on the 2nd, then up on the 1st, then down on the 4th, down on the 3rd, and up on the 2nd. There you have what's really the hardest part. I'll break that down a little bit more though in the next segment, and we'll start breaking down the rest of You Set the Scene.